Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for tuning in yesterday, especially on our live trade deadline show where Shayna was able to jump in for a good half hour or more. And then you had other obligations because you're now a busy man with sick media. And hey, man, I'm not even talking English. I haven't been drinking. But you know what, man, it's so fun to see you doing the show. And, just doing your thing, man. You guys are doing an awesome job over there. So I just want to commend you for everything because I know yesterday was such a busy day for everybody. Yeah. It's a heck of a day. So getting the chance just to jump on with you and Kyle and Mark was a lot of fun, man. And finally, we got a deal at the end of it all. Jake Allen getting shipped off to New Jersey, and we'll talk about that for a little bit here too. But the main thrust of our show will be the Canadiens versus the Leafs, the first post trade deadline game where everyone can kind of go, I'm not getting traded, right?
Yeah,
so, guys like David Savard and Tanner Pearson and Yoel Armia, whoever else, that was on the trade block potentially can now wait till the summer, wait till the draft to see what the next moving pieces are going to be, Shaner. And of course, I know I say that we're previewing the Leafs and Canadiens tonight. We are doing that. But I mean, Shaner, let's be honest. A lot of folks are waiting for this to happen again tonight.
Yeah.
Allow me to switch the title. Jackeye versus Reaves. Last night on the Sick podcast, Shaner, I feel like I'm amping up the energy like Tony on a show here just because I love his energy. And I could match his energy. Take that to the bank and cash it. I could match it. We could do some fun things together, I think, personally. But that being said, Shaner, George Larac himself has said that it's happening tonight. He believes it's just about a guarantee that Jackeye versus Reaves is going to happen, and we're actually going to get maybe a full tilt and not just a bit of a strength versus strength matchup.
Yeah.
Jackeye scores the takedown here, but I guess we'll start with this. Why not, right? Because it is the hot topic going into this game tonight at the Bell Center, Shaner. So let's get your thoughts, my man.
That's it. No, the first bout was more of a tussle than an actual fight, but Jackeye gets the decision anyways. These kinds of situations I'm not a fan of. Having Jackeye is more of an insurance policy where that other players can't mess with the Habs players. If they do, they will get the wrath of the sheriff. Now, when fights are premeditated, where they talk with each other at the face-offs and okay, we're doing it. I've never been a fan of those. As much as it can be electric, it can be some good fights there, but there's not that emotion. There's not that, I guess, that reason to fight that makes those in-play fights even better. Like that one, that was an in-play fight. So
yeah, that was a hit on Gooley. He was responding.
Exactly. Comes to his defense. That's the kind of fight you want to have. That's the fight that I'm hoping happens tonight. I don't want Reaves to go out and just talk to Jackeye before the face-off. Hey man, we're doing it. He's going to say yes. Knowing Arber, he's going to say yes. He's like, whatever. I'll pump your face in. But I'm not a fan of those. I don't want that to happen. Then again, I don't want Reaves to run one of our players and have Jackeye have to step up. But if there is no fight, I'd be fine with it too. Right? Ryan Reaves is trying to solidify himself a spot on this team. And what does he do? He fights, he hits. He doesn't do much more than that, right? So if he's going to be valuable to the Leafs, he's got to do something to prove his worth, and that would be it. I just don't want Jackeye to fall in that trap because Reaves can fight. Like, as much as we like to chirp him, he stood his ground against Matt Rempe, right? He can throw him. So we don't want Arber to get hurt either. It's a tough one. If it does happen, I'll be tuned in. I'll be locked in. But I wouldn't be mad at all if it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying too, and I don't know how I feel about the stage fights, but is it more of an old school thing with the stage fights? I think it is, right? They're trying to get rid of that kind of thing. I mean, is that kind of what you're getting at there?
Mostly, I mean, they used to be a lot more popular back in the day. There's still some here and there, right? Guys like Reaves who their main attribute is their physicality. That's what they bring, and they want to prove themselves. They also want to, I guess, send a shock to the team, right? If they're down a goal or something, get the boys pumping on the bench. There's reasons for it. I get it. I've just never been a fan of it. I like when it's in action. I like when it's in response to a dirty hit. Like, that's when you fight. That's when it's actually worth it. And those are usually the best fights, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes about naturally, which I think they're going to find a way.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So another reason I didn't actually, I just threw this up now because I'm like, we got to talk about this, man. Joel Edmundson returns to Montreal as a Leaf. Bittersweet, right? He's going to get some booze for throwing on the blue and white tonight, right? I mean, it's just going to happen.
Oh, for sure, and hopefully he goes easy on the cross checks. We know when he wore the red, white, and blue, it was nice to have, right? You know, that net front presence. It's dangerous. It hurts, and now the Habs going to be playing against that. So hopefully he takes it easy on the boys tonight. But yeah, I mean, it's going to sting, right? Seeing him in that jersey. I liked him when he was a Hab. I liked his time here. I thought he brought some good stuff. You know, that top four with Weber, Sherratt, Petrie, Edmundson was magical. I mean, that was some of the best defense we've seen in a long time. So I'm happy if he has any sort of success. I like him as a person, but I'm going to have to root against him now. No choice.
Well, no, I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, that's the way. That's the way she goes. Just like Bubbles since Trailer Park Boys says. Well, you know what? I'm just going to do a screen share because we got a show, and you know, this. We're gonna have to enjoy this at least one more time, I think, before it's all said and done.
Straight to the dome.
Look to your right. Look to your right, everybody. Okay. And now it's going to be reversed. Oops, I went to the solo layout here, but anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Eddie back, man, just because. He was such a force. Those cross checks. I mean, I'm sure he's apologizing to Austin Matthews and Wayne Simmons is gone, mind you, but it wasn't just Wayne Simmons that was on the receiving end. It was the other guys, John Tavares, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Nylander. I mean, mainly Austin Matthews getting ragdolled a little bit, but you know, we'll see what happens, right? This is going to be an interesting. The fact that his first game is against Montreal at the Bell Center is like you can't write that. You can't write that stuff, right?
Oh no, it's poetic. And listen, I don't know that as much as I love Eddie, I don't know that he was that missing piece for the Leafs. Looking at their roster, I still don't think they have what it takes to win it all. But he's definitely an upgrade, right? They needed to do something on defense. He is a reliable defenseman, a proven winner. He's got a cup. He went to the cup finals with the Habs, so he knows what it takes to win. But I don't know that it's going to be enough for them.
Well, here's the defense pairing. Let's just start there. So Eddie's going to start on the third pair with Timothy Liljegren, Morgan Rielly with Ilya Lyubushkin, also just reacquired by the Leafs. TJ Brody and Jake McCabe on your top pairing. I mean, the Leafs blue line looks a little steadier with Steady Eddie back there. I mean, I think it's obvious. Yeah. Some fans, from what I heard, are kind of upset about healthy scratching. Oh shoot, what's his name? The other defenseman, not McCabe.
Simon Benoit.
Simon Benoit is being healthy scratch tonight, and Leaf fans were not happy about that. So I don't know. I don't know the reasoning for it.
Yeah, I think he's better than Lyubushkin, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know why they went and got him. That's a weird trade, but I do think he's better than Lyubushkin. And I mean, TJ Brody's been having an awful year. McCabe has been good though. McCabe has been good. Morgan Rielly does what he does, right? And that third pairing, I mean, Liljegren is still youngish. He's got potential. It could be something, but I don't know, man.
All right, so now to the Leafs starting lineup here. The usual suspects on pretty well every line. The Leafs didn't add much forward depth, although they did add Connor Dewar, right? So they added him. He's going to be their fourth line center tonight. I don't know enough about Connor Dewar before I can really comment on him, but that's who they added. That was their forward depth to go into the playoffs, and Tree Living believes in this group. So I mean, I'm curious to see how this game turns out tonight. Let's go over to the Canadiens lineup and just kind of take a peek at that, just so while we're at it. Michael Pezzetta will draw back into the lineup for the Habs tonight, as we know too. So there is a lineup change for the Canadiens, and that is the Pez man himself, the lettuce man himself,
big
Michael
fan
Pezzetta, as I know you love. So Michael Pezzetta with Tanner Pearson and Raphael Harvey-Pinard Harvey Bedard, if you're a hockey junkie, our boy.
Ooh.
It's always fun to call him that. But yeah, so I think, the kind of game tonight, and Joshua Waugh, we got to talk about Joshua Waugh too.
Oh my God.
He's, what do you do with the guy? It's a perfect situation right now for how well he's performing right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about, take your pick with Joshua Waugh or Pez, take it where you want here, my man.
I mean, let's start with Wawa. My boy Josh. My boy Josh. Listen, like to me, he's ahead of schedule. Like if you're Kent Hughes, Jeff Gorton, you are beyond thrilled with what he's been doing this year, both in Laval and with the big club. We expected him to have maybe some rookie mistakes, get in the groove of playing pro hockey, but he's just dived right in and he's fit perfectly. He is already a second line winger. He's played like a dozen games in the NHL, and he's already established himself. Like there's no doubt about it. He is a second line winger. So it's fantastic what he's been doing. I actually got a chance to go to school with his former teammate. Shout out Jeff Durocher, a good friend of mine. But he was cool. Saying that, listen, this kid has all the potential in the world, right? The reason why he was drafted in the 5th round is because he just didn't have that fire. He didn't have that motivation. He didn't work hard. And then he said something snapped when he went to Sherbrooke. It's like that's when everything kind of fell into place and we saw him dominate the queue. Like he was the best player in that league. And then he went to the World Juniors, played on a line with Bedard and Stankoven. Fantastic line. And now look what he's doing, right? So anybody worried about Joshua Roy is out of their mind. This guy, he's going to start next year on the second line. I guarantee you that. Kirby Doc, Newhook with him. That's going to be awesome. But I'm really, really pumped about what he's doing. He's comfortable. He's confident. He's making big plays. Like he's not shy. That's what you want to see out of a guy like that. And he's using his most important asset.
Yes,
his brain. One of the smartest players on that ice every single shift. I'm beyond impressed with what he's doing, and I think the Habs got a good one here. And Michael Pezzetta drawing back in the lineup is, about time, right? I don't care who you took out. Could have been Pearson. Anybody, right? Ilonen, I understand. Again, that's another young guy. You want to give him the reps. You want to give him the chances to prove himself, and he hasn't. It's sad to say because we know he's got the potential, but he just hasn't, right? And Pez, we know what he brings. You know what you're getting out of Pez every night. He's going to get 7 minutes, but he's going to be the best 7 minutes you're going to get out of him, right? He's going to give everything. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to hit everybody. He's going to wear the opponent down. I think Pez is a fantastic player. I'm a big fan of his and his hair, obviously. But what he brings to a team is kind of like the unsung hero, sort of. That energy, that physicality goes a long way, especially against a team like the Leafs. I love this move. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the perfect time to bring him back into the lineup on a Saturday night hockey night in Canada matchup where our friend Kyle will be hosting the game tonight. Our friend Kyle, because he is our friend, he's the man. And you talk about Joshua Waugh and his smarts, by the way, his brain. That's where Marty can really identify with him, because that's the muscle Marty had to use the most to become the player he became. Was figuring out how to use his brain. So he must be in Joshua Waugh's ear in practice or working with him to realize that he sees how he's able to use his brain to his advantage. And now, his third goal the other night, it was just like a wrister from just inside the blue line. He looked like a defenseman on that goal.
That's it. Yeah,
it was like awesome. An unsuspecting shot, right? It was just a nice thing to see from him. And then also his game tying goal against Nashville, which led to a win and Nick Suzuki's 100th career goal. It was just, Josh is making some noise in the right way at the right time. He's still going to go down to Laval likely for a playoff run. Like, is this just the best case scenario for him right now? Because I think this is just the news couldn't be better for his value at this point, and the ceiling they believe is really showing at this point.
Oh, definitely. I saw a lot of people say that he was overrated as a prospect. Oh, You know,
Right.
he's
A lot of
old. That's
concerns
what.
early on, right?
Yeah, that's it. There's a reason why he was drafted in the 5th round. Well, he's gotten over those reasons, right? A lot of that talk was about his defensive game as well. He's become like a genuinely good defensive player, right? In the World Juniors, he was getting penalty kill time. You know what I mean? Like, and I think
That's
we're gonna see.
encouraging.
We should see it as soon as next year. I really want to see Joshua Roy and Juraj Slafkovsky on a penalty kill at some point. I think both of those players have demonstrated such good defensive abilities. I think they'd be fantastic on a PK. Now you do have guys like Suzuki, Evans, Armia, like those guys. They're pros, right? That's what they do. That's their bread and butter. So I understand holding off for now, but they could very well play on the PK. So Joshua Roy has such a complete game. His floor is just so high, and his ceiling, I think we've barely touched it. It's really impressive, and it's encouraging, right? To have a player like that. I mean, what a value pick. You get him in the 5th round. This guy would go in the 1st. He would go in the 1st if there was a redraft. So, yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
just fantastic stuff, man.
Well, let's bring up the defense pairings too while we have a second here. Just want to touch on these. And Mike Matheson alongside Caden Gooley on the top pair, and Arber with David Savard, which everybody is loving right now. Like keeping
Love
David
that.
Savard,
Oh, yeah.
clearly there was a strong reason and a strong motivation for it. If you didn't get the 1st round pick, which Kent didn't, it wasn't worth moving him. And now you really see the value that Savvy's bringing to these guys, man. I mean, it's amazing. And then you got, the Northeastern boys, Jaden Struble and Jordan Harris on the 3rd pair, which I also really like that Struble's back in. And, there's just value with this decor. And the fact that Matheson and Savard are the big brothers on this decor, like I love the balance on it right now, currently. I think the young guys must just be soaking up playing with Matheson and Savard at this point.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, the interesting thing looking at this lineup, there's only one right-handed defenseman.
Yeah.
David Savard. Gooley's left-handed, Harris is left-handed, all the others are left-handed as well, which is it is concerning, but it's also encouraging to know that you have so many good defensemen in the pool right now, right? You got Logan Mailloux in Laval just tearing it up. Again, another goal last night. Fantastic play by him. So
I saw that.
He's going to be slotting in soon. Justin Barron's been playing good in Laval as well. Maybe not putting up the points that you'd want, but I think he's gaining back his confidence. A lot of people are sleeping on Barron. I feel like he's being excluded out of those conversations about the future. Imagine this defensive pairing and all that. Where's Barron in all this? Like he's still got a ton of potential. And obviously the big name, right? Ryan Bacher. Get that man out of Cloton. I can't say it loud enough. Get him out of there, for crying out loud. It is a shit show in Cloton. Pardon my French. It is terrible over there, okay? Get him to Laval right now. Right now. I'm sick and tired of it. That team is awful. They keep losing like 4-0 every night. He's got nobody to play with. Poor guy is just, he's vegetating over there. It's awful. Terrible. So anyways, that's my little rant for the day. But for the defense core that we have now, that the Habs have now, I just love it. I love seeing Gooley take right D responsibilities, right? If you can have that guy able to play both sides, such an asset. That is so underrated. All right. It's same thing with Harris, right? If Harris wants a shot at staying with the team, he's got to know how to play right D. And that's what he's doing right now. And Struble, my God, that to me, that's one of the revelations this season. Such a strong, reliable defenseman. I thought that, looking at before the season, right, looking at the Habs D depth, he'd probably be the odd man out, down the road.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore, man. I think he could actually be a serious part of the future. He brings a lot of physicality, which is great. I mean, I saw the guy in person, and when Marc Bergevin said that he's built like a Greek god, he wasn't lying. Okay, this man is a boulder. Chiseled is the best term, I think. But I think it's very encouraging to see this defense core evolving, improving. If you're a Habs fan, you got to be thrilled, man.
Yeah, it's not a position we're hurting at this point. So that's encouraging, like you said. That's definitely encouraging. Habs versus Leafs tonight. A good couple of storylines. I mentioned the Jackeye versus Reaves narrative. We've got Joel Edmundson returning to the Bell Center as a Toronto Maple Leaf. Boo. But I get it. I get it. You know what I mean? When it comes to this game tonight, there's enough interest. I mean, it's a kind of game tonight where, Habs and Leafs, every guy gets up for it. We haven't played the Leafs in months. It's been literally months since we played them last, which is weird in the scheduling this year. I found that very strange. You got to have more matchups closer together, in my opinion, throughout the season. Maybe that's just the way it went for scheduling. I don't know if Taylor Swift had too many shows this season. I don't know. But when it comes to that, I just think I'd like to see more of it, and it's after the trade deadline, so there's definitely a big relaxation and a sigh of relief over the team, and it's the kind of night where Josh Anderson's probably going to score 4 goals. Like that's just going to happen. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I know Josh has been struggling and all that kind of stuff. But before we sign off here, I want to get your opinion on Jacob Perreault. So this deal was the only other deal other than Jake Allen, which we didn't even talk about yet, actually, but. Jacob Perreault is drawing a lot of interest from fans that are either just learning about him or kind of knew about him. And son of Yannick Perreault, brother of the other guy that got drafted, Gabe. Hello.
Yeah.
But it's up to him now. I think this could a similar thing happen with Jake than it did with Joshua Waugh, because the biggest complaint has been his compete. Same thing as Joshua Waugh. So we already heard Grant's position on it. I didn't hear yours. There's the obvious that he's lazy, this and that. But is this going to be an impact player for Montreal at any point, Shaner, or is he going to be strictly a Laval guy?
That's a Grant did not mince words when he said talented but lazy. I'm going to be nicer than that. I think Jacob Perreault, again, potential, right? He was drafted in the first round for a reason. He tore it up in the OHL. I played with Sarnia. Again, the transition to pro was harder for him, obviously, playing with the San Diego Gulls. I think a change of scenery can only do him good. I'm really, really excited to see him play in Laval. I think this is a type of player that has a lot of offensive upside, which is something that the Habs have been lacking forever.
Yes.
So if at all this can bring any kind of value, I mean, Jan Mysak, I got nothing against the guy. I thought he was doing fine in Laval. If we kept him, I would have been happy as well. I think this is a heart and soul type of guy, right? Gives it his all every shift. But I think Perreault has a bit more talent, like just pure raw talent. So I'm excited to see how he slots in, how he adapts to Laval, playing at home. That might be good for him as well. I like the move. I think it's a low risk, high reward type situation. I hope he pans out. I hope for him. I hope for the Habs. But it's a good gamble. They didn't give up too much. I don't think Mysak was going to be a part of the future. You look at the center depth that the Habs have now, right? It's like Suzuki, Doc, Beck, Oliver Kapanen. I mean, you keep going. I think Mysak was lower than that. So, I like the move.
Okay, fair enough. I like it too. He's a pure sniper according to his draft profile from 2020.
Good shot.
We just need to see a bit more on the other side of the puck, or maybe a lot more on the other side of the puck, right? And then we'll see how he pans out. He's going to be playing at home, like you said. He's a young player, 21, 22 years old. So I want to get your thoughts quickly on Jake Allen, though, Shaner. I did not get a chance to discuss this with you yesterday. So if Allen plays 40 games next year, that's the official ruling on the conditional pick, the third round pick. It becomes a second, likely to remain a third. He's probably not going to play 40 games in New Jersey next year. But regardless, his trade to New Jersey, what were your sort of thoughts on it? I know we chatted a bit through text, but what were your final thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'll actually add to the conditions because it keeps the conditions keep growing. So Allen needs to play 40 or more games next season, but the Devils also have to qualify for the playoffs in order for that pick to become a second. So these conditional picks are cracking me up. There's always some weird creative kind of spin to it. I find them interesting, but this is phenomenal return for Jake Allen. And I have to preface this by saying thank you to Jake Allen, because he gave the Habs and us fans some really good moments. He was nothing but a pro, and he was a true Montreal Canadian. Like, he had it on his heart This guy really wanted to win. And, the most revelating comments came when he said that, I hope to be watching this team when I'm retired winning a cup.
Yep.
Right. This guy knew he wasn't going to be a part of the future, but he accepted it and he did his best to help out Montembeault, to help out Primo. So all the credit to Jake Allen, fantastic person, great goaltender too. So all the best to him. But knowing what kind of situation the Habs were in, right? Kent was not exactly in a position of power because other teams knew that he was trying to break up this 3 goalie rotation. So knowing that, I mean, other teams could have easily lowballed him and he would have been handcuffed. Now, getting a third that could become a second is beyond what I expected for a return. I expected just a regular fourth, to be honest with you. So again, Kent the Wizard, making magic happen. I don't know how he did it. And from New Jersey's perspective, I'm also very confused. I'm confused with everything they did yesterday, to be honest with you. I just don't understand what kind of direction they want to take. It's strange. It's strange. But nonetheless, I think the Habs win this one. A third that can become a second. Fantastic value. And I mean, people say, oh, it's a third. The Habs drafted Jacob Fowler in the 3rd round, right?
Yeah,
this guy's having a historic NCAA season. Like, he could pass Al Montoya for the most wins in NCAA, in a season. So
former Hab.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Good point. But no, you could get some good value in the 3rd or even the 2nd round. So yeah, Kent Hughes, hats off, man. Again, another fleece. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I think everyone knows our names, by the way. I just realized they weren't up the whole show, so I just put them up now. Just in case anyone didn't know our names.
Yeah.
I think everyone pretty well did at this point. But great stuff, man. This was a pregame show loaded with stuff. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed before and after this Leafs game. And it's going to be an interesting one tonight. I think it's going to be a spirited game where guys are going to play with a lot of pride for the crest on the jersey. We know Montreal's out of the playoffs. The Leafs are not. They are coming off of 2 back-to-back losses against the Bruins, and they're not going to be very happy. So, they're going to be they better be looking to play a good game tonight against the rival Canadiens as Joel Edmundson makes his return to the Bell Center to a lovely, respectful chorus of boos. But it'll be a fun one either way, Shanner. Yeah. So thank you for jumping onto this pregame show last minute like you do, because you're a stud that way, and I appreciate it, my friend.
Always a pleasure, Drew. Always a pleasure.
All right, folks. That is a wrap on our pregame show. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, do feel free to hit the like button on this video and the subscribe button. We appreciate it. For Shaner, myself, he's Gaumont. I'm Deeks.
I like it.
See you guys.